Data has shown time and again that emotional intelligence trumps IQ when it comes to ultimate performance. As a project manager, program manager, and engagement manager for years, I can tell you that the emotional health of your team and the individuals in that team is paramount to both the happiness of the people you work with, but also their productivity. I used to say, although it's kind of corny, a happy chicken is a happy egg. A happy team creates great results. If you want great results, you want your team to be happy. I want to talk to you about how we can use data to actually ensure we're reaching our goals of workplace happiness, satisfaction, and result. Coming up next on Project Skills Mentor, we're breaking down data management for EQ. 7 ways to check your team's pulse to make sure they're on track with EQ goals as well as performance goals. One of the things managers are great at is creating key performance indicators, KPIs, to track how well they're performing, budget, scope, time, whatever. But you can do the same for tracking your team's productivity, their happiness, their confidence in understanding the mission, the purpose, and how it relates to the team themselves. The roles, goals, and opportunities they have for growth, but also understand the rewards that come from the work that they do, both as a team and individually. First of all, emotionally baseline your team. That means maybe your team are a whole bunch of technical people and they're never really ecstatic, but they actually have a satisfaction level and they can share with you what that is. They can tell you this. You don't have to guess. You can ask them. And once you have that baseline, you can check in every now and again. Are we better or worse than this? You can actually track it on a board. And you know, transparency is okay with this because people understand when they're unhappy. This just gives them a way to articulate it. Another thing is tracking certain emotional triggers. Now, these might be different for different teams, but let me show you this example. Change fatigue is real, and you can actually track that as this example shows. Something like how many sprints you're doing and how the team's mood is overall changing. And yes, it's objective. You don't have to give this a number or do something so specific, but you can give it sort of a RAG status. Is it red? Is it amber? Or maybe it's green. Emotional versus technical progress. So technical progress would be functional, a design, a build. As you're looking at the work outcomes, check the emotional outcomes as well. If you can tie these things together, you can start to see how they play on each other. When people are unhappy, they are less productive. That goes back to my happy chicken, happy egg situation. If you were capable of changing the team's dynamics through your own actions and giving them freedom to create a happier place to work, then you're more likely to get good results. That's just how human beings work. If you build an emotional log, like I exampled earlier, into your ways of working at team meetings, maybe monthly meetings, you can start to see a shift and then just check in openly with the team. Hey, feels like things are a little rocky right now. How are we doing? Let's talk about it. Making time to say things out loud will honestly just diffuse the situation a little bit by having the conversation. But more than that, talking about what can be done and then doing it will also help. And remember, here's a golden rule I have about a whole lot of things in life. If you ask people for their opinion and you do nothing, things will get worse. And if you do something, which you should, then talk about it. Let me give you an example. Hey, people feel they're not that clear about roles. Let's do a process where we're writing down the roles and then let's check in again next month to see, did it improve things? So ask, address, and follow up. So one of the things I like to kind of have an idea for and maybe map out is emotional dependencies. Who creates the emotional vibe for who? You probably have people in your team who create some of the emotional vibe. They may be natural leaders or they might be influencers who create a vibe in the group, good or bad. And you need to be aware of those people and tune into them so that you know when they're creating a new kind of vibe or when everything's kind of plummeting downward. And you can actually enlist their support to make things better. And the next thing you can do to help get data about your team's EQ and address it is to map emotional risk points. Stress can blow up a team. Checking in on this emotional risk register can save you a whole lot of heartache trying to figure out what people are thinking and feeling. And this may not work for your team, but if it does, it can be a great way of gaining insights without having to guess. And I recently did a few videos on stakeholder management and blogs, and I'll put links below to those and the blog I wrote about emotional IQ and data mapping. Savvy project managers understand that governance models are one type of stakeholder, but there's a whole lot of other stakeholders. If your team's trying to work toward a customer that's not happy with the whole idea of the project, that's going to create a vibe that makes it very hard for your team to be successful. So mapping your stakeholders, as I have here, and understanding what their goal is, what their purpose is, what their wants and needs are, and how they feel about the project, how they feel about your team, and how they feel about the process of the project is really critical to landing on how to keep everyone reasonably happy while they're going through generally what is a change moment. Moments of change are some of the most stressful at work that people will ever have. We've all seen this map of projects. They start out great, they have this great honeymoon period, then you go into the trough of despair, and then you come out the other side. You need to know where you are in that picture, because if you think we're still in the honeymoon phase and no one else agrees with you, you may be in for a big surprise, maybe even a revolt. And my seventh and almost the most important thing is map your own emotional state. I can't tell you the number of times that people have walked into the room and you feel suddenly the heaviness, the stress, the anger, the resentment, the concern, the dread. People will respond to that. You can have a leader walk into the room with the wrong mojo, and it will set the tone for the team for weeks to come. It can even create a situation where an otherwise happy and high-performing team are absolutely incapable of moving forward. That's been a real experience I've had, and I can tell you, being the buffer can be hard because basically you'll take the brunt of whatever they're feeling. That's sometimes your job, because you got to keep the people in a good place so they can get the job done. So my key takeaway for you is treat emotional intelligence like a data set. Gather, track, map, respond, and follow up. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. Check out these videos if you want to know more about leadership and managing your stakeholders. And I'll see you next time on projectskillsmentor.com. Bye-bye, everybody.